Shabbat. Dero yikra levenim bat v'yintachem kemo v'avat ne'im shimchem v'lo yushbat shevuvnechu b'yom Shabbat. Dero yikra levenim bat v'yintachem kemo v'avat ne'im shimchem v'lo yushbat shevuvnechu b'yom Shabbat. Dero yikra levenim bat v'yintzachem kemo v'avat ne'im shimchem v'lo yushbat shevuvnechu b'yom Shabbat. Derosh navi ve'ulami ve'ot yesha haseimi v'tasorek v'toch karmit she'esh avat b'nei amim. Dero yikra levenim bat v'yintzachem kemo v'avat ne'im shimchem v'lo yushbat shevuvnechu b'yom Shabbat. Dero yikra
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Mevorach.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so good to see you. It was so great to welcome Shabbat with all of you. This Shabbat of Parashat Kudei. The Shabbat in which we are reminded of the importance of keeping our accounts in order. That's what, to some extent, what Parashat Kudei is about. It's about accountability. It's about being present. It's about showing up. And we show up to celebrate Shabbat together in community. We show up in difficult and joyful times. We show up in time of war, and when the world seems to be out of its mind. And we show up as we celebrate also the beginning of the month of Adar. We show up as we conclude the reading of the book of Exodus this week, and we move into Leviticus by Vayikra. And we recognize the power of cycles, the power of not moving on, but moving forward, of pushing throughout our journeys, of trying to find direction and a promised land. We come together to welcome Shabbat, and we invite you to prepare your Shabbos candles, your Kiddush cup, as we try together to create a sanctuary, Mikdash. We would like to invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 122 for Adlakat Neirot Shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
We welcome Shabbat with joy. We walk toward welcoming Shabbat with joy. We turn our Sidurim to page 130. Lechu neranena.
Lechu neranena, l'Adonai nariya צור ישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בזרו מיום ליום ישועתו ספרו וגויים כבודו בכל העמים נרלותיו ילאי 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 ילאי
אדוני מלאך תגל הארץ יתמכו איהם רבים אור שרו על הצדיק ולשתי לב שמחה. A light is shown to the righteous, the light that emerges from engaging in the search of mitzvot, in the search of a path for connection between our actions and our values. Mizmor Shiru L'Adonai Shir Chadash, a psalm, a new song we sing every Shabbat as we ask for renewal, as we take a moment to recognize, to acknowledge, to celebrate the wonders that we witness in our world, in our lives. As we enter this Shabbat, we take a moment to mindfully leave behind the things that we shouldn't carry into Shabbat. We allow each one of these psalms, each one of these melodies to become a step in a stairway that helps us, allows us to reach connection with what we define as sacred, as Shabbat Kodesh, this seventh day, this time, betoch hazman, within time, this palace on time. We're on page 134, Samru L'Adonai.
Samru L'Adonai Bechinot Bechinot V'kozimna B'chatzot V'kol shofar Ariu Livnei HaMelech Adonai Yom Yom Umlot Tevel V'yoshveiva Haydai Neharot Yimcha Chav Chav Yachad Harim Yironeinu Livnei
Adonai kivat lishbot haaretz yishbot tevel betzedek mehamim vemeisharim yam yamulot tevel veyoshveiva
Haydai Neharot Yimcha Chav Chav Yachad Harim Yironeinu
7 days of creation, 7 psalms that walk us throughout the magic of being alive, the magic of being a part of the creation, and to some extent being creators of our own lives. Here on page 136, Small David. Welcome Shabbat as a bride. We turn our Sidurim to page 138. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכר בדיבור אחד ישמיענו את המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו לתפארת שבת נקבלה לחדודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה
לקראת קלה לכו ונלכה לקראת שבת כי מקור הברכה ראש מקרן מסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, מה יחסו עניי ימין, ונתנתה הרעלתי לה, לך דודי לקראת העלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת העלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת העלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת העלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. What a joy is to welcome Shabbat together in community. We invite you to say good Shabbos to each other. We say good Shabbos to all those that are physically present here in our sanctuary, Andy, Milo, Aiden, Gabriel, Shabbat Shalom. And we acknowledge those that are joining us in Facebook. We love seeing, on YouTube, sorry. We don't see the Facebooks of the faces of those in Facebook. That got complicated, right? But we love seeing the faces of those joining us in Zoom, and we are glad to see those are joining us in Facebook and YouTube. We love seeing your comments later on. We love knowing that you have been with us, so please leave us your comments, say good Shabbos. And if you are here in Zoom with us, we invite you to wave with your hands so you can see each other and you can greet each other. We encourage you to send text messages saying good Shabbos to each other as we welcome Shabbat together. And we turn our Sidorim to page 140 for one more psalm, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Psalm 92. אמונתך בלילות, אמונתך חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, באמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני. יוי להגיד בבוקר חסדך, יוי להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, באמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה תברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דרכו בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמרה מברך לעולם ולעולם בעלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשם בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן ועלמא ואמרו אמן.
We turn our Siurim to page 146 for Baruch. And as we acknowledge our minyan, we acknowledge the minyan that we build together. We also think of the many Jews that are welcoming Shabbat in Ukraine, in Warsaw, and a few hours ago we're davening Ma'arim and welcoming Shabbat to the best of their ability, exactly as we do today in the comfort of the United States. So as we think of our extended family, we think of our minyan, we keep them in our hearts, in our prayers.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. ומעביר יום ומהביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי ורבי. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. Everlasting love you offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. And as we think of our Torah, as we think of the legacies of love that we have in our lives, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, to try to dedicate this time to become aware of your breath. The psalmist says that a beautiful idea is to think of every single breath as a song of praise. And as we breathe, we are reminded that we are alive. that our lives transcend our physical presence on earth, that we are carriers of eternity, of a soul that connects us with past generations, with future generations, and also with those that are surrounding us. As we breathe, we try to think of the presence of love in our lives, of everlasting love. We look at that love as the most beautiful piece of art. Try to pause for a moment and contemplate the love that you are surrounded by, that you are gifted by. And as you breathe, let that love fill your body, surround you with its presence. And as you exhale, try to recognize the things that you are bringing into this Shabbat that you don't really want to carry, that they shouldn't be with you, energies that don't belong to you. And let them go. Decide that you are not going to carry them into Shabbat. And allow the love that you feel, the one that belongs to you, fill your system. Once again, I invite you to take a deep breath and become one. As we say, Be'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamin. Dear God, please never remove your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, forevermore. Israel. On page 152 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue on page 154 with Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Adonai Elohechem emet. אמת באמונה כל זאת בקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar v'kodesh, נורתי לא תוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקעם לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו בהמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם בהם. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Goel Israel.
Amen.
And as we turn our Sidurim to page 160, we think of our ability to build shelters of peace when we are moved by love, when we embrace the search for redemption. We try to find the peace, the shalom, the wholeness, the integrity from within in order to extend that peace to our world. We're on page 160.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu alechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu alechaim. Gofros aleinu
Sukat shlomecha
ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור צדקנו
ובואנו
לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני
אלוהינו
לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over the holy city of Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, por sukat shalom aleinu, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם. It is Shabbat, says אחד העם, what kept us alive, and not so much the people of Israel, what kept Shabbos. And thinking of the importance of Shabbat, the importance of being able to direct our hearts and our thoughts, we turn our Sidurim to page 164, and we try to find the Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer, the words of our hearts, as we follow along the words of Tfilat Amidah.
אדוני
שפתי תפתח
שפתי תפתח
ופי יגיד
ופי יגיד
תהילתך. lips.
that my mouth may
Declare your praise.
Adonai,
Adonai,
Sefatai Tiftach,
Fi Yagid
Yagid
Tehilatecha. Adonai,
Adonai,
Sefatai Tiftach,
Sefatai Tiftach,
Fi Yagid
Yagid Tehilatecha.
תגיבו לעולם אדוני מחיים מדינתיו רב ראשי. אתה קידלתי משהו אלינו, אומר לך, תחליט מעשה בשמיים. Page 179. As I was praying Filat Amidah, the words of Rabbi Nachman Mibraslav, the Hasidic rabbi who actually is from Ukraine and wrote a prayer for peace, came to my mind. He wrote in his prayer for peace, שלבנו לעולם בשביל ריב או מחלוקת, אלא באנו להכיר אותך. We didn't come to this world to be in conflict, to be in a fight with each other. But rather we came to get to know you, O God. To get to know you, God, through the miracle, through the gift of humanity. And in these days, as we conclude Filat Amidah, we are thinking of peace. These words are very close to my heart. As we say, Yilo Ratzonim Breifi, Ve'yon Livi Lefanecha Adonai, Suri Begoali, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my God, my rock and my Redeemer. Then I saw on page 179, nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again no war. לא ייסגו ילגו אוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא ייסגו ילגו אוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. Sago Ata Adonai, Oseh Shalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, maker of peace through us. With now we're still into page 371 as we think of all those that are dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls, those that are dealing with addictions. As we think of those that are hurt, and we pray for their recovery. We invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of on the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, and of course here in Zoom. We have the ability to read your comments. Jonathan and Marla Kazan,
Jim Berry,
Jim Berry,
David Trachtman, Greg Weitzman, Mike Bell, Haley Schubel, Debbie L. Ogren, and Bob Leesky. Sorby Pierre,
for all those names that we were able to read and for those names that you
Call
brought
me.
up in your heart. We pray for their healing, Misheberach, page 371.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Refuah Shlema, V'achlama Meira. We wish to all of you, to all of them, to all of us, a complete and a fast recovery.
Amen.
Shabbos, Shabbos, Chaverim. Can you hear me well? Good. So we have this system now that Rabbi Miriam, if you can't, we have direct texting with her. So she keeps us mindful. Inventory reconciliation. Inventory reconciliation is the process of comparing physical inventory counts with records of inventory on hand. No, I'm not reading the wrong script, if you were wondering, because Parashat Kudei is indeed an inventory reconciliation. Pekudei is the last in a sequence of 5 Torah portions dedicated to the building of the tabernacle. Now, after asking for a variety of contributions, there is a moment of public accountability. We read in Exodus 38:21, אלה פקודי המשכן, משכן העדות אשר פוקד על ידי משה, עבודת לוויים ביד איתמר בן אהרון הכהן. These are the accounts of the Mishkan. The Mishkan of the testimony, which were counted at Moses' command. This was the work of the Levites under the direction of Itamar, the son of Aaron, the Kohen, the priest. So Moses requests this audit, which is given as a task to the Levites, who are accompanied by Itamar, who is a son of Aaron, the priest. Moses requests this audit, which is given as a task to the Levites, who are accompanied by Itamar, who is a son, one of the four, of Aaron, the priest. There are two words that stand out in this pasuk, in this verse, to me, and I'd like to explore them with you. The first one is the one that gives its name to our sidra, to our portion, pekudei. The word pekudei means to account, but not only so. The root pakad, shoresh pakad, paked, the word leit paked is to stand for, to account for. In addition, in the book of Genesis, we read that God pakad Sarah. That's what we say at the end of Tfilat Amidah, Magen Avraham, ufoked Sarah, because who is a shield for Abraham and a presence to Sarah. Pakad in that case translates as took account of her, or as God was present for Sarah. So our parsha starts with a moment that symbolizes accountability, showing up and ultimately being present. Points out the Or Chaim, Rav Chaim Ibn Attar, that Moses' accounting was enough for God. He wasn't suspect of any kind of dishonesty. The vocabulary of Torah itself is Mishkan ha'edut, a testimonial tabernacle. Yet, on top of what we already have, at the same scene, the Levites under Itamar's supervision performing an additional accounting. And so the imperative question is, why was this additional testimonial accounting needed at all? If the text itself is saying that the Mishkan is the proof of our inventory reconciliation, why is this additional layer ordered by Moses and performed by the Levites and Itamar needed at all? The Or Chaim explains that the purpose is to show that the accountability is not only placed on the leader, but rather anyone in the people should be able to carry on this responsibility and to be held accountable for it. We're talking about the Mishkan. And here is the second word that I want to explore. Reminder. The first one was pekudei, to stand for, to show up, to be present. The second one is edut, witnessing. The idea of edut, of witnessing, appears in this verse twice. The first time is literally referring to the Mishkan, saying that this is a testimony, Mishkan Ha'edut. And the second time, conceptually, by the work of the Levites and Itamar, presenting the cycle in which the Levites account for Moses and Itamar accounts for the Levites. Midrash Tanhuma on our parasha refers to witnessing as well, as it compares between the creation of the world and the erection of the tabernacle. We have spoken about it several times over the last couple of weeks. The rabbis ask, why is the tabernacle equal to heaven and earth? And they reply, because even as heaven and earth bear witness concerning Israel, as it is written, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, in the book of Deuteronomy. So the tabernacle bears witness in behalf of Israel. As it is said, these are the accounts, Elep Kudei, of the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of the testimony. The Mishkan, the tabernacle, is a reflection, a testimony of our actions. It furthermore represents our search for justice, truth, for kindness, and for peace, for shalom. It is a testimony of our willingness to build a world with space for God. This same God that says in the book of Isaiah, Atem Edai, you are my witness. You are my witnesses. Parashat Pekudei, in a metaphorical but very tangible way, remind us of the ultimate importance of being accounted for, being present, showing up, and bearing witness. We are experiencing a situation which, to some extent, feels surreal. We are seeing a sovereign, peaceful democracy being occupied by a ruthless aggressor. I think it is safe to say that many feel deeply consternated and overwhelmed by despair. For many in the Jewish community, the images coming from Europe, from Ukraine, connect us with our own transgenerational trauma. And it is in this context that we come this year in Parashat Pekudei to do our inventory reconciliation. And the numbers are not adding up. There is no correspondence between the resources we have in our world, the experiences we have collected over the past 100 years, and the situation that we are witnessing in Ukraine. The exuberance of the catastrophe we are seeing is innovating and could make us feel powerless. But going back to our Torah portion, similarly, the responsibility over the tabernacle could have been perceived as something that was well beyond the reach of any normal person. Parashat Pekudei comes to teach us that there is no such thing. We all can and must show up and bear witness. Because ultimately, it is that act of presence that will account for us. It is that act of presence that makes us builders of a tabernacle. This is a moment not to lament for what we cannot do, but rather to be present and engage in every single thing that we can do to bring healing to our world that is in such desperate need for it. We show up and bear witness in our prayers. We show up and bear witness by rallying in social media. We show up and bear witness by making financial contributions. We show up and bear witness by demonstrating. We show up and bear witness by taking sides and by saying that there is such a thing as right and wrong, that there is such a thing as good and evil, and that we are witnessing wrong and evil. Parashat Pekudei is the last Torah portion of the book of Exodus. In this book, we learn about the dangers of fear from otherness. We learn about the importance of stepping forward with faith. We learn that there are always going to be cowards that attack us from behind. And while they need to be remembered, they need to be remembered, they don't set the tone of our journey. In the book of Exodus, we learn that the foundational story of our people is the transition from being oppressed to finding redemption. We learn that caring for the weak, from the widow, for the orphan, and loving the other are central to the world that we are aiming to create. And finally, the book of Exodus leaves us with a very clear message. Each of us counts. We can all contribute, and we all, even when feeling powerless, we all have the power to show up and bear witness, because we are God's witnesses. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue our service on page 588 with Be'ah Shevota El Levavecha from within Aleinu Leshaveach. Be'ah Shevota El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. At this point, we turn toward the mourners in our community. We acknowledge those that are during the cycle of the first 7 days of mourning, those that are during the cycle of the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, and those that are during the cycle of the first year. We also acknowledge those that have a yortzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing. By this time of the year, in years past, we invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of. And as you share the names, you need to know that in our comment section, if you don't write that you are reminding people for Kaddish or for Misheberach, we don't know what you are reminding for. So I will assume, Phyllis, Randy is for Misheberach or for Kaddish? Kaddish. So we are remembering Tony, I will remembering Joey, Chris, and Greg, or they're for Misheberach. Friends, you need to help us next time. We cannot know what you wrote for. So we will acknowledge Sally Koo, Sandy Weinberg, Rita Silverstein, Arnold Londo, Shane Domnitz, Randy Sostok, Samuel Weiser. We invite all those that are connecting with us through Facebook and YouTube to share the names of those that you are remembering. And we will, of course, later on be able to see the names of your beloved ones there. I want to acknowledge, while we are not saying Kaddish for him yet, because his funeral is going to be on Sunday, the passing of Terry Applebaum's father, Gary Fish, who passed away yesterday, and we will be accompanying him in his very last way this coming Sunday. Now, we invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 598 for Kaddish Avelim. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמה דברה חילותה, בימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובמכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה.
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמה, באמרו אמן. יש למר רבה מן שמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. May the memories of your beloved ones be always a blessing. יהיה זכרם ברוך. Be seated. Two announcements. Number one is that we are running our Mishloach Manot, sending of dishes, of meals that is customary for Purim. We have an entire program running around it, so we encourage you to take a look, to sign up, and to sponsor some of the Mishloach Manot that you want to send to fellow TVTers. It's a beautiful mitzvah. It's a beautiful mitzvah of Purim. There's another mitzvah in Purim, which is Matanot Le'Evyonim, sending gifts to people in need. And one of the things, we're doing several things this year. We are helping a refugee family that came from Afghanistan and is sitting very near our congregation. We are trying to help them to settle in Orange County. And through the World Union for Progressive Judaism, as you participate in the project of Mishloach Manot, all the profits that come from that project will be donated to effective charities. Will become one of the World Union congregations that is engaged with effective charities, and we are hopeful. We're hoping that we will be able to gather a donation of around $5,000. $5,000 in countries that are experiencing poverty in its worst form go a very, very long way. So we are hopeful that TVT will be able to bring such a gift and help and participate in this enterprise of the World Union for Progressive Judaism. And on the 15th, right? 16th. But I will be so excited already on the 15th, I need to tell you. On the 16th, we have our Purim spiel that Gabriel has been producing for months already.
Yeah.
And directing for months already.
Yeah.
So we can't wait for the Purim spiel. Any comments on that?
The kids are doing amazing. They're just, oh my gosh, you have to see it. You have to see it.
She's biased, but fine.
I am totally biased, but still.
We do think that the kids are doing amazing, and they are very, very excited. So, and it will be also a live stream. So, for those that cannot be in person, don't worry, we will be sharing that online. On the 18th, we will be celebrating Shabbat as a family service, and we will focus on the month of woman history. Or human women history.
Women's history.
Women's history. I don't remember all these months that, but I do remember that the focus is woman this month.
Women's history.
Yeah. So we'll be trying to also to bring some important ideas. And in that context, on the 19th, Rabbi Galit Kedem will be sharing some wisdom about the experience of being a female rabbi in Israel. The class is called Your Mother What? Which is the question that her children get all the time when they say that their mother is a rabbi.
Wow.
And her husband also, Dr. Adar Cohen, will be with us on the 18th after services, and I want to invite those that are very interested in the different political identities that are in the state of Israel. Adar was responsible for the curriculum for civic education in Israel, which is a big deal, almost an impossible mission, and he will be talking about how to give space to the variety of identities and how they try to do that in the different areas of education. With all that information, let's do Kiddush. I'm about to turn your Siddur to page 120. Hold 1 second.
Two.
Thank you. 120.
2.
122. That's also good. ויחול השמיים בארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי, מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סבלי חבריי וחברותיי,
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, ברצה בנו, בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא וקודש, שכל יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, עם כל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת חיים. It's really nice wine.
You're welcome.
We'll take one more moment to make sure that nobody leaves this space without a blessing. It is our custom in the house of Israel to bless our children, to bless our creations on Friday nights. Similarly to what God did by Kadesh Oto, God took a moment to contemplate the beauty of the creation and dedicated a blessing to its creation. We close our eyes and extend our hands toward those that we love, toward those that we feel we are partners in their becoming, their creation. We try to open our hearts to receive the loving presence of those that were partners or are partners in our becoming. We are receivers and givers of blessings. As we tell to our children, may God inspire you to be like the mothers and the fathers of Israel. ישימך אלוהים כשרה רבקה רחל ולאה. ישימך אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה. And to all of them we say, יברככם אדוני וישמרכם. May God bless you and protect you. יאר אדוני פניו אליכם ויחונקם. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליכם. May you find God's presence within you always. May you find integrity. May you find the koach, the power, the strength to show up, to be present, to speak up, to to bear witness, to support those that are in need, to give healing to the ill, to bring love to this world that is in such a desperate need of it. And may you find within your heart wholeness. May you find the most beautiful gift that God has given to all of you, to all of us, and it's peace. May we find Shalom, peace. Adonai os le'amav iten, Adonai yevarech et amo bashalom. Shabbat shalom umevorach. Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
Shalom.
ואסור לי להתלש, ושכנתי בתוכם, ואנחנו נברך יד מעתה ועד עולם. Oh God, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. ושכנתי בתוכם, ואנחנו נברך יד מעתה ועד עולם.
Shabbos.